Hello, welcome back to Frogboy X-Men Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today I want to talk about the Microsoft Activision deal and what it potentially means for Sony in the long run. So, actually, let me start it off like this. What if Xbox secretly just said, "Hey, yeah, we're gonna buy Activision just to bring all of everything out that Sony's been doing for generations, paying off third-party games, making people sign like these unrealistic contracts to keep stuff off of Xbox and Nintendo. uh in a big way, all of the CMA, the EU, the FTC, like everything they're against, the anti-consumer and all of that stuff. Like they are literally pulling that right out of Sony. Like, look, man, this is the anti-competitive stuff that Sony has been doing for generations now. Even if this deal does not go through, this is what I want my Xbox fans and everybody in gaming to understand. Even if this deal doesn't go through, it definitely shows you exactly what kind of company Sony really is and what they've become. And when you're a Sony fan and you're not paying attention to this stuff, it it kind of sucks, man. Like having both consoles and having a community with Xbox gamers and PlayStation gamers, Nintendo gamers, PC gamers, and then all my friends at work and just all the gamers that I talk to. That anti-competitiveness that Sony has engaged in since day one really, really sucks, man. Like it blocks people from being able to experience the games they want to play on the console that they want to play it on. It doesn't really matter. Like Xbox and PlayStation, Series X and PlayStation 5, unless you're somebody that's literally right there, like me or something, or Digital Foundry or some other people, for the most part, man, if you've got both games on two different screens sitting next to each other, it's going to be pretty hard to tell the difference. Like it really is. Um, Unless of course like the resolution is drastically lower on one of the consoles, like you're not going to notice. You're not going to notice some of these games that the differences are so small that you are not even going to notice or really even see anything unless you're looking at both of them. Now, yes, there are going to be games that are built for Xbox and built for PlayStation that are really going to maximize the console's features this generation, that are going to be like, whoa, they're going to be mind-blowing. And those games are going to be, first-party games that are only going to be, you're only going to be able to get those on those platforms, and that's fine. But the way that PlayStation keeps games like Final Fantasy, or they keep the rights to Call of Duty, and Xbox isn't like free and clear of that either. But I would say if anybody is like completely anti-competitive, it's PlayStation. PlayStation has more than paid develop, and they have a stranglehold of Japanese developers. They do. They keep those guys off of Xbox, and that's fine. Like who's PlayStation, who does PlayStation think they are to try to tell an American company or two American companies that, hey man, you can't sign a deal? If this deal falls through, that's $69 billion. How much do you think PlayStation pays to keep all them games off Xbox? That's the question. That's what you should really be asking. How much does PlayStation pay to keep those games off Xbox? And how many games do you think $69 billion could go to keeping games off of PlayStation? That's what you should be asking yourself. Because if this deal doesn't go through because of what PlayStation says, and if they side with PlayStation, that means if they side with PlayStation and don't let this deal go through, that PlayStation is in the right for doing what they do. So then Xbox should take that $69 billion and buy everything they can to keep it off of PlayStation. Why wouldn't they? Obviously, that's the way it's supposed to be done. That will be the precedent set by this deal not going through. In my honest opinion, that's exactly what they are telling the markets. Hey, no, you can't buy publishers, but you can 100% pay to keep games off the other platform. You can 100% do that. That is fine. We don't frown upon that. That is exactly the way we would want it. We want you to spend that $69 billion keeping games off of PlayStation. Okay, man. I'm pretty sure $69 billion is more than is that more than Sony's like market price? I don't know, but I mean, it's like, seriously, dude, I'm pretty sure Sony doesn't pay $69 billion to keep games off of Xbox, but Xbox could pay $69 billion to keep games off of PlayStation. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. That's the only thing, like, seriously, man, I see this stuff all the time. The CMA is making it wait until April or whatever. Like, who cares? Who cares? The biggest thing we've learned from this is just how scummy of a company Sony can be. And while that's good for their customers, it in a way, dude, it kind of like say you're me, and say you're like, dang, man, I just want a little bit more power so that I can get a little bit better 4K on my screen. So I buy the Xbox because it has more power to do 4K graphics. But then I'm stuck having to buy a PlayStation to play select games that I want to play. What if I don't want to play them on a PlayStation? What if I want to play them on the Xbox controller because it fits my hand better? Well, like what if I want to play with an Xbox controller because it fits my hand better? What if the new DualSense controller like really cramps my hands when I'm trying to play racers or shooters? What if I want to play these games on the Xbox? I can't do that because Sony paid that developer to keep that game away from me because I chose to play Xbox. As far as I'm concerned, Xbox has been very fair this generation. Last generation, it started off a little ugly with them securing the rights to Tomb Raider for a year. That sucked because I was on PlayStation and I badly wanted to play that freaking game. So I had to wait a whole year. But then I got a 4K upgraded version and all that. So I was happy. I was like, whatever. And then, you know, I mean, like it is what it is. And it sucks having to wait, man. Because let's face it, games do have, like, really good games, not so much. But like most of these games that come out these days, like, seriously, man, our gamer minds, we have such a short attention span that we'll forget about them in just a month. I mean, like, look at God of War Ragnarok. Everybody's forgot about that. But then you take another good game like Gotham Knights and people are still talking about that. I mean, it was trending on Twitter again today. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, PlayStation locks, not only do they lock games off of Xbox, but they also lock their customers into their ecosystem, man. Let's be honest about PlayStation 4 Pro. This is when I started noticing what was going on. This is what woke me up. Was I bought a PlayStation 4 Pro because I bought into naively the 4K whatever. And I was like, yeah, man, FP32, that's going to be great. You know, the rapid pack math and blah, blah, blah. Everything that Cerny said, I believed it because, man, I'm a PlayStation fan. Mark Cerny works for PlayStation, man. He would never lie to me. He would never lie to me about foveated rendering or checkerboard rendering or any of that other stuff. He would never lie to me. I would get a 4K experience on my 4K TV. Whoa, dude, I didn't get that. I got 4K on a few games that Sony made and a few other AAA games, but everything else was 1080p. Everything else was fuzzy and blurry. But then I found something out this generation that I could just set my console in 1080p and let the TV upscale it, and it does a better job than the PlayStation. You know, well, it would have done a better job than the PlayStation 4 Pro. And that's what I'm talking about, man. Like, I'm so sick and tired of Sony Magic and them, like seriously, with this whole VR thing, man, this is another thing that I don't think customers completely fully understand. VR is expensive. 4K VR at 120 frames a second is like, you need like a 3090 for that type of freaking rendering power, even in VR, man. Like, it's pretty heavy. My 3080 can do pretty dang good, you know, in VR. That 3060 was pretty good in VR, but the PlayStation 5, man, it can't even do 4K at 60 frames a second. You want to think it can do 4K at 120 frames a second? I mean, come on, guys. Come on. Now, I'm actually thinking about buying an actual freaking headset that plugs into my PC so that I can play my racing games with that. And, you know, because I mean, I like the MetaQuest 2, but if the one I pay $500 for or $600 or whatever doesn't do the exact same, like it does worse than what my thing does, I'm going to be upset. But for the most part, like I'm really into racing games. I love racing games. I love sim racing games. And, yeah, dude, I want a little bit cleaner image than what I'm getting right now on that. And if I can get that by spending a little bit more money on that, cool, I'd do it. If PlayStation's VR 2 was compatible with PC day one, I would buy it. I would definitely buy it. But it's not, so I'm going to go ahead and skip on that. And I'm looking at the HP Reverb 2 or the Valve Index. Those are the two that I'm kind of looking at. So those will probably be this year sometime for sure. I'll probably buy one of those. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm sitting with that. So if we learned anything, guys, we learned that PlayStation is a scummy company, and if this doesn't go through, that's the way they want these guys to compete. So I say the Xbox is going to have to compete with the rules and the precedent that's laid out before them. So if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.